Welcome to episode 2. It's fine. Everything's fine. Welcome back to Alayna Bakes. I'm Alayna Brandt. You are here for episode 2. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make the next recipe in the cookbook Midwest Made by Shauna Sever. Today, we're making the Swedish flop. Hoping this isn't a flop. Come on, people, I had to. Let's get into it. This recipe has a yeast-raised coffee cake dough. There's some frosting involved, there's a little bit of jam involved. So we're gonna start by making the dough. As we learned from episode 1, I am going to keep my stand mixer in its usual spot, not next to the kitchen sink, but in a much safer spot so it does not fall off. Thank you to those people who gave me encouragement when my mixer fell. That was a tough time. So first we're going to mix yeast and some warm milk in the stand mixer. My yeast and my warm milk have been sitting together in my mixer bowl. I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 large eggs. These should be at room temperature. A handy dandy trick, if you forgot to pull out your eggs, keep them at room temperature, fill up a little bowl with some warm water, set your eggs in there for about 15 minutes. They'll come to room temperature very quickly. 1 egg, our second egg. You notice that I have all of my supplies set out. I pull everything out so that I know exactly what I have. Actually, when I pulled everything out to get this ready, I realized I didn't have any milk. So I ran to the store, got a little milk. One thing I don't have are my teaspoons and my measuring spoon. So let me grab those. Oh, they're right here. I got them. Add in 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Can't get enough of that. Pour this in. Of course, I'm using my scale. This would be a great gift if you have a baker in your life, somebody who loves to bake or is really wants to get into baking. Buy them a scale. For a nice one, you can spend like 15 bucks on Amazon. It is so worth it. So we are doing 50 grams of granulated sugar. And then we're also gonna add our lemon zest. Here's my lemon. The zest is just that yellow part around the lemon. 2 teaspoons, I don't know. I'm not gonna measure. Isn't that always what Martha Stewart said? I don't need to measure. I'm Martha Stewart. I was born with this knowledge in my head. Well, I was not, but we're still not gonna measure. I like to live life on the wild side. So we've zested, I don't know, it's supposed to be 2 teaspoons. I feel like that's probably good. You know what? A little zest for good measure. Tap it out. Perfect. Whisk this. I don't even need to use my electric mixer right now because I've got an arm. If you don't have an arm, then you should use an electric mixer because this could be a challenge. After we whisk all that together, we are going to add in some dry ingredients. I'm gonna do the salt first. Morton's finest. We need 256 grams of flour. 256. We're getting there. We're there. Let's get back in here with that whisk and whisk all of this around. We've got this all whisked in. Wicks are for kids. After we whisk this together, we're gonna add it to our stand mixer, and with the pedal attachment, we're gonna beat it for about 3 to 4 minutes. So let's pray that nothing happens to the mixer. Our dough has been all mixed together. Now we're gonna take it out of this, and I sprayed a medium-sized bowl with Pam, scoop all the dough into here, and we're gonna let it rise. This dough is like a coffee cake base, so we're gonna be adding some fruit filling and things to it, but you could easily make a streusel kind of thing with cinnamon, sugar, maybe some pecans or walnuts. I'm also acting as if I've made this recipe. I never have, but in my head, I imagine it will be good with that. We're gonna cover it all with plastic wrap and let it rise for 45 minutes to an hour, which means it will probably be dark by the next time I see you. It's fine, everything's fine. While my dough is rising, I'm going to prepare the pan that we're gonna make the Swedish flop in. So I have a 9x13 pan, and in case you were thinking about stealing it, it has my name on it. Spray it with some nonstick spray. Then I've taken a piece of parchment paper and I've cut it to fit the length of this pan. But then I have a little bit of overhang over the top of it because eventually I'm gonna lift these pieces up and then lift the flop out that way. I had a couple comments comments about the fact that I was saying the last recipe that I made wrong. It's supposed to be what? Like posed? I don't even know. Regardless, it tasted good, so get off my back, people. Meanwhile, I'm going to make the streusel. So in a bowl, I have 5 tablespoons of butter. This butter should be a little colder than room temperature, so I would take it out of the fridge, and I've had it out for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. Probably good. To add 75 grams of brown sugar. Oh, we're at 81. It's fine. After that, we're adding 96 grams of flour, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm not even gonna measure this. 1/8 is about like a big pinch of salt. Oh, here comes the fun part. I'm gonna use my fingertips to mix this together. As a kid, I remember asking my mom, can I mix with my hands? Almost all the time she said no, because why do you need to make cake batter and mix it with your hands? Sounds like a huge mess. So we're just gonna crumble it all in here together. There are people walking by that can definitely see what I'm doing. It looks like I'm talking to myself, which, well, I am. I'm putting it in the refrigerator so that it stays cool. Okay, to the refrigerator we go. Speaking of people walking by, I had a friend tell me that she walked by my apartment and was going to say hi, but she was afraid that I was recording. And I've never felt more like a YouTube star. Thanks, Jamie. While our dough continues to rise, I'm going to begin to make the frosting. This frosting is called ermine frosting. Somebody will correct me below. If you've ever had a traditional American buttercream, it's very sweet. It's powdered sugar, heavy whipping cream, really sweet. But this is not as sweet as that. And we're actually gonna be making it on the stove. So it involves a little bit of boiling. This is a really old school frosting recipe. When I look through cookbooks from my grandma, I often see this recipe. Pretty cool that I finally get to make it. Let's get going. In a pot, we are going to put flour, milk, sugar, and salt. 32 grams of flour, so not a lot. To the 32 grams, we are going to add 1 cup of milk, which is 225 grams, 225. Then we'll add 200 grams of granulated sugar, sea salt. Great. Now, whisk this together over medium heat, and then it's gonna start to boil, and I'm gonna continue whisking for about 1 minute, and then I'm gonna remove it from the pan. I don't trust myself to be over an open flame and having a camera and things happening, so I'm gonna go get this done, and I'll be right back. Our dough has just finished rising, so we're going to take it out of the bowl using a spatula. This is the spatula my students gave me today. So sweet, they know me so well. Take this dough and put it into the 9x13 pan. And we're gonna spread this around, and it's gonna rise for another 45 minutes. You can tell by the windows. It is getting darker. We'll cover it with plastic wrap, let it rise for another 45 minutes, check back in. I've been looking through this recipe book to see what's coming up next. There are some very challenging things coming up. Punchkis. Whoa. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make those. No, change that bad attitude. We are gonna make them. We're gonna make them together, and then we're gonna eat them, even if it's not Fat Tuesday. As we continue with Swedish flop. The Swedish flop? Swedish flop? I think it's just Swedish flop. We're going to be adding in a layer of jam. I didn't make my own jam today. I was in the jam and I didn't have time to make my own jam. Okay, I'm done. I bought some Smucker's red raspberry jam. What's the difference between jam and jelly? If you know, comment below, because I have no idea. The recipe said jam, so I specifically asked my Ship Shopper to get red raspberry jam. This is not gonna compare to my grandma's though. My grandparents have raspberry bushes and they pick raspberries from them, and my grandma makes jam. And I just gotta say, Smuckers, you got nothing on my grandma, but we will use you today because I don't have any of my grandma's. Grandma, could use some raspberry jam. Love you. If Beth calls me while I'm recording, I'm gonna be so mad. We have made it. I have taken my Swedish flop out of the oven. It smells delicious with all of its streusel, and I've kept it on a wire rack to cool faster. Taking my handy dandy little handles here, maybe, oh boy. Okay, pull it on out. Woo! I'm just gonna shave off like this brown side. I'm just gonna shave that off, AKA take a little taste test. I'm using a serrated knife. to make this nice and easy. Ooh, okay. And I'm gonna do that on this side as well. Let's try this and see what it tastes like. You can taste that lemon zest. It's not super strong, but it's enough to make the dough feel and the bread feel a lot lighter. We're gonna take this and cut it evenly, horizontally. Do we go this way? I would say it'd be like this. This is horizontal, the horizon line. But if we went like that, yeah, no, we're going like this. Okay, all right, horizon. Yeah, stick with what you thought. So we're gonna cut it in half. So, cutting in half, like this, remove, what? Shoot, I think I did it wrong. So I was supposed to cut it this way, but I didn't because, well, I make mistakes. Can we do this? Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna make it like that. Everything's fine. We know what we're doing here. We don't know what we're doing here. I'm gonna smooth frosting on one of the layers. Oh boy. So we're gonna spread this around onto the flippity flop. Oh, there's gonna be so much frosting because, well, this is not right. Let's smooth it. And now we're gonna spread the jam over the top. I think, I don't need no man. You could use really like whatever kind of jam you want. I chose raspberry. Ooh, Smuckers, what have you done? This doesn't look real. Not an ad for Smuckers, that's for sure. Why does that have such a strange consistency? This isn't working great. It's just kind of mixing in with the frosting, but whatever. Like, it's all going into your mouth, so does it matter? It's now turned this really like purpley color. Oh boy. Blue raspberries are definitely not blue. How did we get to that spot in life? We're gonna flip. This is the flop. Prepare for the flop. A flip flop, one on top of the other. Here we go. Slow-mo action. 3, 2, 1. Flip that flop. This looks hideous. Oh, this looks bad. This is, all right, let's just say this is not winning any beauty contest, but let's hope it does win. In the taste department, I'm feeling creative, so we're just gonna take this and we're gonna decorate the top of it. We're sliding. We are sliding. Okay. So it was supposed to be cut horizontally, as all of you are like, yeah, duh, you idiot. What's happening over here? Cool. We're gonna keep it like this. It kind of looks like a really big, oversized Twinkie. No more flip-flopping around. Let's get into it. Cut off a slice here. Bring it onto my fancy serving platter. Let me get a spoon. Beth, do not mess up the shot. Ah! Just sliding off the top. This is a disaster. Let's take a little bite. Interesting. The jam is a little too sweet. I gotta be honest, not my favorite. Ooh. Maybe if you like raspberry, you'd be into this. This, I think, was a flop. It's the jam. I really need my grandma's jam. I think that's what's gonna make this better. So I don't love it, but I'll still keep eating it because it's sugar. The coffee cake is really good. That would be good with a different kind of flavor profile of like cinnamon, sugar, pecans. I'd rather have a slice of chocolate cake. But you know what? Here's the thing. Wow, that's sweet. We did it. We tried it. And we learned from it. Oh, wow. How appetizing does that look? Yum. This all goes to show you it's not perfect. I don't think I would make this again. All in all, this was not my favorite recipe, and I'm hoping the next one is better, but regardless, we tried it. I think what we walked away with here is a good coffee cake dough that we can use for other things. I'm just not a big raspberry fan, so I guess it makes sense. After that rave review, who wants to try this? Was it a flop? Might have been a flop, but it's a victory in my book that you are still watching. Thanks for joining me, Alayna, on episode 2 of Alayna Bakes. See you later.